Hi, I'm Matthew Pfeiffer, and I'm a real estate agent in Regina, Saskatchewan. Last week, I was reading a book about anti-gravity. I couldn't put it down. Not a bad joke. Are you a buyer looking to get into your first house? Maybe you've bought a few houses, and you probably got a million questions. I've been working with buyers for almost a decade, and I can guarantee you on today's video, I'm going to answer some of those questions. Number 10, how much are realtor fees? That's an easy question. Absolutely zero. It doesn't cost you anything to work with a buyer's agent. When a person decides to put the property up for sale, they predetermine with the selling agent what that commission is going to be and how it's going to be split amongst the agents. So the sellers are paying all the commissions when they sell their property. You're not going to actually get a better deal if you deal directly with the listing agent. That agent is just going to get paid double that commission. You're better off to work with a buyer's agent who's going to look after just your interests. Number 9, what is CMHC? CMHC, Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation. This is an arm's length organization set up by the federal government. In Canada, if you put less than 20% down, you have to have an insured mortgage. CMHC is one of those insurance providers for that service. What that does is if you are defaulting on your mortgage, there's an insurance policy to pay out the balance of that mortgage. The advantage to this is allows lenders to be slightly more lenient in their lending practices. This was set up by the government of Canada to make housing more affordable and more accessible to Canadians. But the disadvantage to this is you do have to pay a fee for that. Depending how much you put down, that fee ranges from about 0.5% to 4% of the total loan value. Number 8, what inspection should I do? This is actually a pretty easy answer. You want to do as many inspections as you feel are needed in order to make you feel comfortable with purchasing the property. A good start is a home inspector. You want to have a qualified home inspector who's going to go through the house top to bottom. They may want to bring in an additional professional to look at specific items. So for example, in my market in Regina, one thing we often get looked at is foundations and sewer lines. Number 7, what about the deposit? In every offer, you're going to have a deposit that's going to accompany that offer. When you're writing your offer to the sellers, you're going to discuss with your agent how much that deposit should be, because it's going to depend on a number of factors. Now, that deposit is written to your buyer's brokerage trust account. So it's not going to the sellers or the seller's agent. And it's going to stay in that trust account until all the conditions of your offer have been satisfied, at which point it becomes part of your down payment. If your conditions are not satisfied and you don't purchase the property, that deposit is returned to you. Number 6, what's a good neighborhood? I get this question all the time from buyers. Easiest thing is drive around the neighborhood that you're thinking about looking at purchasing in. If the houses are well maintained, there's pride of ownership, if you see nice, well-kept lawns, vehicles are well taken care of out front, that's probably a good indication of what type of neighborhood that is. And I always tell my buyers, if you're unsure, get out of the car, go for a walk around the neighborhood. If you feel comfortable there, that's probably a good sign. Number 5, how do I go about seeing the houses I've been looking at online? It's really common when I first sit down with buyers, especially young buyers, that they've already been looking online and they probably even have a few picked out. What you want to do is you want to go see those right away. You like those for a reason. Make sure you get to see those. Your agent's going to sit down. They're going to put together the list of ones you've picked out and probably a few they've got in there that they think are going to be good for you. Now, the sellers are going to have detailed instructions as to when the property is available to show, what days, what hours, and how much notice they need to make sure it's available for you. You want to sit down with your agent and figure out, are they going to pick you up or are you going to meet each one of those houses? You decide what you're more comfortable with and go with that. Number 4, how much is the down payment? In Canada, you have to have at least 5% down if you're going to be living in the house. Investors have to put down 20%. But if you don't put down 20%, you have to get an insured mortgage and you'll pay the insurance premiums on those. The higher down payment you put down, the lower your monthly payments are going to be, and often the higher qualified purchase amount you're going to be qualified to buy. This is more of a question you want to sit down with your mortgage specialist and chat with them about. Number 3, how much are closing costs? I get asked these top 3 questions all the time. This one is not straightforward in any way, shape, or form. It's very specific on the area you're looking to purchase. In my jurisdiction, Saskatchewan, our legal fees are about 1% of the purchase price. Home inspections are going to be about $300 to $600. Then you're going to have final adjustments at the lawyer's office. These are for things like property taxes and any rental items that have been prepaid for the year. We don't have a land transfer tax, but most jurisdictions in Canada do. BC, Ontario, Quebec, the Maritimes, they all have these. And then on top of that, some jurisdictions, municipal jurisdictions, have fees as well. Those often double up whatever the provincial land title fees are. Legal fees and home inspections, those are pretty consistent across the country. Number 2, how much do I qualify for? This is a big question. I get this all the time again, but it's actually not one I'm going to answer in my buyer's meeting because it's not one I can answer. This is where having a qualified buyer's agent is really going to help you because they're going to have partners in the mortgage industry, mortgage specialists. They're going to be able to get you the best rates and the best terms on your mortgage. They're going to be able to make sure you have all the things you need to make sure you're qualified for. If you got questions, you want me to sit down with a mortgage broker and something like that, put a comment below and I'll make sure to get those answered. Number 1, oh my God, I just found the perfect house. What's next? You've just finished viewing a house and it is perfect. Now is the time to act because you know what? Somebody else might be thinking the same thing about that house. What you saw and loved in the house, they might also see. So this is where you're going to sit down with your agent and write them an offer. Don't rush this. Take your time going through this. But this is where a quality agent is going to be able to walk you through all these steps. Now, every province has different rules and different contracts, but they all have the same major components. Every offer is going to talk about the price point, the possession date, and all the inclusions that are coming with the house. You're also going to include on there the conditions to buying the property, such as what inspections you're going to do and your financing conditions. You want to make sure that you're 100% satisfied before buying a house with all those conditions, so take your time writing these and make sure you're satisfied. If possible, have your buyer's agent present that offer for you. They're going to be able to tell directly to the sellers why your offer should be accepted. Plus, as agents negotiating every single day, they get used to different people's negotiating style. Everybody negotiates differently. That buyer's agent is going to be able to understand what type of person they're negotiating with and do the best to make sure your offer gets accepted. That's it, guys. That's my top 10 buyer questions that I get asked all the time by buyers. If you have questions, want something else answered, put them in the comments below. If you're thinking about buying, you are not in my market, but you still have questions or want to talk to somebody, I'd be happy to put you in touch with somebody who can help you out. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, hit like and subscribe here. If you've got great dad jokes, put them in the comments below. If you want to watch more videos, you can click on them right here.